What happens when a prime minister tries to befriend a man he once called dangerous, only to be humiliated on the world stage? Keir Starmer promised a special relationship with the US, but Donald Trump had other plans. In this video, we expose how Starmer's desperate attempt to look strong ended in failure, showing just
You mentioned Canada. I think you're trying to find a divide between us that doesn't exist. We're the closest of nations, and we had very good discussions today, but we didn't discuss Canada.
Thank you. Please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes. Thank you.
Did our Prime Minister persuade you not to put tariffs on the UK?
He tried. He was working hard, I'll tell you that. He earned whatever the hell they pay him over there. I think there's a very good chance that in the case of these two great friendly countries, I think we could very well end up with a real trade deal. Prime Minister Starmer, you've been terrific in our discussions. You're a very tough negotiator, however. I'm not sure I like that, but that's okay. Very, very special person.
And this is with Queen Elizabeth. Right here, who was fantastic, by the way. These images, I mean, who has images like this? And these were relationships, too. Look, here's now the king. Here's Charles with the guard. And this is the Queen Elizabeth. It's a piece of history at the highest level. Look, it's Charles. So beautiful. And they'll see the most beautiful places in the world. There are no places like this. And hopefully he's going to be well, because he's a really good person. Camilla is fantastic. You get to know him so well. This is your favorite president with the Queen. She was unbelievable. She was great. We had a very good relationship, really good.
What country are you? Wait, what country are you from? Okay, we don't give a about your opinion and your reporting. Why don't you go back to your country where you have a major migrant problem? And you no. You should care about your own borders. No. Let me tell you something. Do you care about people from your country? What about all the women that are raped by migrants? Do you care No, do you care? Okay, you're done.
Do you care about American lives being put at risk?
You know what? I don't care.
Service members fighting for your country.
I don't care about your fake news. Do you have a relevant question? Yeah, this is an American journalist. Thank you. I'm not answering her question because I don't care about her network. If you would like to ask, I can answer.
The UK has not escaped Donald Trump's trade tariffs. The president has confirmed the US will put 25% tariffs on imports of aluminium and steel from every country globally. And despite Keir Starmer's best efforts, that does include the UK. The EU has said it will hit back with counter tariffs on $26 billion of US goods. But the UK has chosen not to retaliate immediately. While Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds said the news is disappointing, he added that the UK is rapidly negotiating a trade deal with the US, which would eliminate tariffs. Prime Minister Starmer has previously been urged by the likes of Lib Dem leader Ed Davey to hit back if Trump's tariff threats became reality. But the PM is expected to resist pressure. Do you think the UK should retaliate?
Prime Minister and Chancellor, a question to both of you. If you allow tariffs on European goods?
Am I going to impose tariffs on the European Union? You want the truthful answer, or should I give you a political answer? Absolutely. Absolutely. The European Union has treated us so terribly.
Look, I think it's early days, and what I want to see is strong trading relations. And in the discussions that I've had with President Trump, that's what we have centred on, those strong trading relationships. So it's very early days.
Of course, I wouldn't want Donald Trump round for dinner, but don't underestimate the danger to the world if Trump is re-elected this time around. I'm anti-Trump. I would like to send my warmest congratulations to President Trump on his inauguration as the 47th President of the United States.
Dissuade President-elect Trump from imposing tariffs on the UK.
Well, I'm not going to speculate as to what he is going to do. It won't come as any surprise to you that I'm not a fan of tariffs, and therefore we have to make sure that we avoid tariffs. We've got very good trade with the US, as we've got very good trade with other countries around the world. I want to improve on that, and as you will know, I've had a meeting with President Trump in September in New York. I've had a number of
Did you
phone
discuss
calls
this?
since, and including one yesterday. I won't go into the details of what we discussed, but am I alive to the danger of tariffs? Yes, of course. I'm against tariffs, but I'm not going to speculate as to what the incoming president might do.
You are committed to introducing or negotiating an SPS, a closer veteran deal with the EU. That would probably rule out a grand bargain free trade deal with the United States, because we couldn't include something on agriculture in such a bargain. How are you going to put the two deals together, with Europe on the one hand and the United States on the other?
Well, I think that we can pursue both. I don't accept the argument that you've got to either be with the US or be with the EU. That isn't how it works at the moment with our current trade. We do want a closer relationship with the EU on security, on defence, on energy, and yes, on trade. And I've set out how we want to reset on a number of occasions. At the same time, I want to improve our trading relationships with the US. Is that going to be easy? Of course it's not. Do I think we can make progress? Yes, I do. And that's among the reasons that I'm making sure we've got a good relationship with the incoming president, and that the relationship between our two countries remains as strong. And we look forward to welcome you in the United Kingdom. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. What a beautiful accent. I would have been president 20 years ago if I had that accent. Thank you very much.
So, you've just seen it with your own eyes. The moment Keir Starmer, the man who claims to represent British strength, diplomacy, and leadership, was utterly dismantled in front of the world. And now, we need to talk about what it really means. Let's not sugarcoat it. What we witnessed wasn't just an awkward moment. It was a complete power play by Donald Trump, and Starmer? He wasn't just caught off guard, he was exposed. Ask yourself this: if a Prime Minister can't hold his ground in a press conference, how on earth is he going to defend British interests in a trade war? This wasn't diplomacy. It was domination. Starmer went into that meeting promising a special relationship, a strong bond with the United States, a partnership rooted in respect and cooperation. But what happened? Trump dismissed him, interrupted him, brushed him aside like an intern, and Starmer stood there, silent, powerless, weak. That moment, when Trump refused to even let him finish a sentence, wasn't just disrespectful. It was strategic. It was the clearest message possible: you are not in control. I am. And the worst part? Starmer didn't fight back. He didn't reclaim the moment. He didn't even try. He folded. And the world saw it. British citizens are watching their Prime Minister be steamrolled, and the only thing more shocking than Trump's arrogance is Starmer's lack of backbone. He once called Trump dangerous. He warned about his trade policies, his stance on immigration, his global recklessness. But now? Now he's begging for deals, smiling for cameras, and swallowing his words. Is that leadership? Because here's the truth: the British people don't need a diplomat who smiles while their industries are torn apart. They need someone who will stand firm. Someone who will fight for them, not freeze when challenged. Let's talk about that 25% car tariff. This isn't just an economic inconvenience. It's a direct attack on British industry. Jaguar, Rolls-Royce, Mini, icons of British manufacturing now facing massive losses, job cuts, and higher costs, all because Starmer couldn't negotiate his way out of a crisis. Trump's message was clear: America first. Britain? Take a number. And what was Starmer's response? Nothing. No rebuttal. No retaliation. Just vague comments about future cooperation and productive dialogue. While Europe prepares to strike back with counter-tariffs, the UK waits. Hesitates. Hopes. Is that how we protect British workers? This wasn't just a bad press moment. It was a humiliation that revealed everything we need to know about Starmer's style of leadership: reactive, not proactive. Submissive, not strategic. He wasn't leading the UK on that stage. He was following Trump's lead. And make no mistake, when it matters most, Trump calls the shots. And what does that mean for Britain? It means our industries are vulnerable. Our global standing is shaky. And our Prime Minister can't even defend his own policies when put under pressure. That's not a statesman. That's a shadow. And let's not forget the hypocrisy. The same man who used to publicly denounce Trump now bends over backwards to win his approval. Why? Because he's more interested in optics than outcomes. More concerned with photos than protecting livelihoods. Do you feel safer with Starmer at the wheel? Do you trust that this is the man who can stand up to global giants? Or do you, like many of us, feel an uncomfortable truth rising to the surface? We are not in strong hands. That intervention didn't strengthen Britain's global position, it weakened it. It didn't build credibility, it shattered it. And while Trump walked away grinning, Starmer was left fumbling for words, a man completely out of his depth. So, what comes next? Will Starmer fight for British jobs, or will he keep appeasing a man who clearly sees the UK as nothing more than a junior partner? Will he stand tall, or shrink even further? We can't afford another round of diplomatic illusions. The British public deserves clarity, strength, leadership. And if this performance was anything to go by, Keir Starmer isn't ready. Not for Trump. Not for trade wars. And certainly not for the world stage. If you believe the UK deserves a leader who won't back down, who puts country before politics, then it's time to say it loud. Share this video. Start the conversation. Because Britain is watching. And so is the world.